Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my sunroom here on this beautiful day in June in East Tennessee. It's time for a blooms tour. I love doing blooms tours because it kind of gives me a diary of what's in bloom and when, and I actually go back and watch videos from previous years that, I can see the progress of my plants, and I just enjoy sharing them with you. This is a lot of beauty and I like to share it with all of you. So I've got some new things to show you today as well, and then we're going to end the video today with some African violet blooms that I have to show you. So this is my dendrobium that I nicknamed Wilson. He's a no ID, and he always blooms in the summer. These dendrobiums all kind of take turns during the year. It's like, okay, you bloom now, okay, now I'm going to bloom, and then the other one is going to bloom. I always have dendrobium blooms, but just never on the same plant. So I think it's very nice of them to think of me, one of them needs to be in bloom. I completely agree. And here are the gorgeous blooms on my Foul Sogo Lawrence Tahiti Sunset. I bought this. It will look like a miniature plant. It is now growing as large as my standard Phalaenopsis. Yes, it's a big plant. So I have two spikes on this one and a secondary spike this time. And it's just absolutely a beautiful bloom. And here's my other Tahiti Sunset that I have in waterculture. And as you all know, she was having some problems in some sprouted sphagnum moss. So that's the reason why she's in waterculture. And my goal is to have this plant as large as the other plant that I just showed you in about 2 years. I'm hoping that she can grow that much. I really don't know if they're exactly the same plant. That's the thing. The blooms aren't exactly alike. These are a little bit ruffly, and there's no ruffle to the other Tahiti Sunset at all. So neither one of them was marked when I got them, so it could be something slightly different. I don't know. Okay, and then our red poker, the Sogo red poker, is right here. It was in waterculture last week, and I went ahead and put it in some small orchiata bark, and she hasn't missed a beat. As a matter of fact, she's perking up. So I'm glad to report that. This one blooms prolifically. The leaves are not that big, but this thing blooms. When it blooms beautifully, and they last for a really long time. And here's my Foul Fuller Sunset. My daughter gave this to me for my birthday back in September, and she already threw up another primary spike. I mean, my goodness, this is going to be a prolifically blooming plant. So gorgeous blooms on those. I think it goes really well with Tahiti Sunset. They complement each other very well. And here is my Foul Purple Dust. She's still in bloom. She's almost always in bloom. These are the most huge blooms on a Phalaenopsis I think that I've ever seen. This and Magic Art. And the interesting thing is she just started blooming on a secondary spike, and she just threw up another primary spike that is branching. So let me show you that, because that is really exciting. Here's her new primary spike. See the branching, there's more nodes that are branching. And look how long this spike is. Yes, that is a beautiful spike, and I'm going to come over here. There's more blooms over here on this secondary spike, and I don't know how I'm going to show this thing when all of this is in bloom. That's going to be interesting. That's my new challenge. That's a great challenge to have. And is my Foul Magic Art still in bloom? Yes, it sure is. I have to get a close-up of these beautiful blooms. I hope it does that again this next time that it blooms, because these are just, I feel like I've got two plants in one here, because this is Magic Art. Yes, it is. And it also has a primary spike. I'll show you. It's gorgeous. Okay, do you all see that spike? That is Magic Art. That is a huge plant. And there is her new spike. The first bloom is just starting to pop open. So here again, I'm going to have blooms on both sides of this plant. It's going to be interesting to showcase this plant. Again, a great problem to have. My motto is there's never too many blooms. There's no such thing as too many blooms on an orchid. And here is my Foul Zanchin Diamond. I know that several of you just really love this plant. It is a vigorous grower. It blooms for me a whole lot. My standard phals back here in my sunroom, they must just get exactly what they need. They just bloom for me really, really pretty back here. So this is just a gorgeous plant. And here's my Foul Brothers Red Caribe. I've had this in my collection for about 14 years. And she blooms beautifully every single year. Very vigorous growing plant, and the color of this one is just so saturated, as you see. And here is my beautiful Foul Legato. I smile every single time I see her. I've had her in my collection for 14 or 15 years. You all ask me about this one all the time. Unfortunately, it's not available in the United States. I have done searches, and I know friends who have done searches, and no one can find them. So just want to share the beauty because she's been in bloom for a long time. She has bloomed, I believe, since, February? Yes. I believe she's been in bloom for 4 or 5 months. So she just keeps elongating her spikes and blooming more and more and more. So it's just amazing. I'm going to go back and see how long she's been in bloom. Okay, so I just want to share the beauty here because this one's a really beautiful plant. And as for something new, look what I did. I bought my first Bellina, Foul Matuo King Bellina. She is a beauty. I got her last Friday, and I have been beyond excited. I couldn't wait to show you all this beautiful plant. I bought this one from Hauserman, and it's just going to be stunning. I cannot wait to see this one bloom. They said that it's going to probably be about a year before it blooms, but honestly, the root system to this thing looked so good and so extensive. And I mean, look at this plant. It's just perfect. So I put her down in small orchiata bark. She was in New Zealand sphagnum moss, and it kind of took me a while to get all that off of the roots. So I actually put her down in water culture overnight and then placed her in the small orchiata bark. I just can't wait to see this plant grow and bloom. I've wanted a Bellina for so long, and then I found the right one, and I thought, that's mine. So I will be doing updates on this one for sure. And look what else I bought. I bought a Neophonetia falcata. Yes, this is the cutest little guy I ever saw. He's absolutely adorable, and he's going to bloom pink. Yes, so I just decided I want to branch out just a little bit. I'm going to give this one a try. I have read where you have to give this one several wet dry periods. So what I did with this one is I actually put it in also small orchiata bark, but in the bottom I used large. So I thought that's going to drain it really well. That's going to drain the water away from this one really well. So I'm going to be doing updates on this little plant as well, and he's going to grow and be a big samurai orchid. I can't wait to see this one bloom. And I have to share with you all this beautiful little African violet. Tammy sent me a leaf from this in October, and this is it in full bloom. Is that not just absolutely amazing? It's just a cute, compact little plant with all of these huge blooms. Wow, that's a pretty little plant. And let me show you another one that Patrick sent me back in September. Okay, he sent me this back in September, like I said, and there were 9 baby plants that one mother leaf had produced. And this is one of those plants. These are such charming blooms. Actually, they're bluer than they appear here. The color is just so dark and saturated that I'm supposing that my camera has to kind of throw some more light to capture the blooms, but these are just deep, deep, deep purple. Gorgeous. And here's a fan favorite. Here's my Frozen in Time. She's beautiful. She's in full bloom. She needs to be divided. I keep waiting for her to kind of come out of bloom, but she just keeps blooming. So I don't know when that's going to happen, but this is a beautiful African violet, and so many of you have asked me about this one. So I wanted to end the video here on Frozen in Time, and I hope you all have enjoyed just walking around and seeing my orchid blooms and my new plants and my African violets. Just thank you all for going on my orchid and plant journey with me. And before I go, I'd love to say the blessing over you and your families and your plants. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face toward you and give you and your families his shalom peace. You all make it a great day, and we'll see you all next time.